Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Andy's live Sunday chat catch-up. Andy Nichols from Two Legs here, and hope you're all doing very well on this fine first day of fall here in 2024, and it really feels like it. Just went outside a little bit ago, and it's like, fall is here. Dry and cool, man. So hope you're doing well, and happy to be here again for a weekly catch-up, and hope our regulars pop in at some point. Probably stay on until close to 1 or so, 1 p.m.-ish. Yep, there's Tony. Yeah, a little bit different last night. We dropped it a little bit late just because of our schedules, and that's just, life. But we do drop them. Hello, Mike. Hello, MVP and Tony. Good morning, Mr. Boyce. Hi, how we doing? Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hi, Ralph. Yeah, we dropped that one a little bit later. It was 10:30 Eastern. Usually it's 7:30 Eastern on a Saturday, so because we actually just recorded it last night, got it edited, and then got it posted. Hi, Susan. Good morning, as John sings. Hi, Russ and David. Well, the little hope that I have for my beloved New York Giants is waning by the week. 0-2 and at Cleveland at 1 o'clock today. Not too optimistic. The Browns have a very good defense, and we're probably staring down the barrel at 0-3. Hi, Bill. Loved your comment on our latest episode. The musical miracle that is with a little luck. God, I love that. That's a great sentiment, because it's true. Hello, Nick. Julia from New Hampshire. Hello. How are you? Hello, Scott O'Rourke. Yeah. So that was a pretty cool just a quick, fun little thing that Tom and I did. We might do a series of it. Other albums, because there obviously are a handful of albums that do divide the camp. I was really surprised with Tom's choice of London Town, and I'm glad he didn't tell me. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. Hello, Jeff. Hello. Wasn't expecting that choice from Tom, but he made good arguments why. But I do think I see more people favoring it than not favoring it. Driving Rain for me was an easy pick because it's pretty much Kyle hand aside. Peace and love, Kyle. Really don't like Driving Rain. It's got its fans. Hello, Ted. Hello, David. Yes, and it's not the Joe Louis Arena. Thank you for the clarification. I thought it was the Joe Louis Arena, going back to my WWF days. Is it even still standing? As Tom and I were talking last night, stadiums change name like people change underwear these days. This center, that center. You can't even keep track anymore. I think only Madison Square Garden stays the same. Come on with that. Yeah. James, I will never understand that. Now, Ted Montgomery, as we said on the show, does not like With a Little Luck. We interviewed Ted probably 3 or 4 years ago now when he wrote his book on the Paul McCartney solo catalog. And he is not a fan of it. And Tom and I were like, rolling our sleeves up. Like, all right, dude, let's go. You don't like With a Little Luck? Come on, bring it on. No, it's fine. It's fine. The full 5 minute and 45-second version of it, though, with the long synth solo. It could have just been a synth solo, and I would have. If the song was like one lyric and the synthesizer, I still would have liked it. Now the video is cheese, with the kids dancing and the swaying and the bell bottoms and like that. That is just schmaltz and cheese. That's just that the video is not good, but the song is a home run. Come on, man. It's good. Oh, it's so bad. The kids and the dancing and the swaying and come on. At least if you're gonna do a video, maybe do one like a little bit more, I don't know, a little more adventurous. I don't know. Well, now you know, Tony. London Town's where it's at, and I've got a wall-size poster of it hanging in my living room, which was a promotional in-store advert that I got at like one of those flea market type places, and somebody had it there for $40, and I grabbed it. I said, can't miss this one. The gang is all here. Russ says, With a Little Luck sounded great on the radio in the spring. Yeah, sure does. The Joe Louis Arena was recently demolished for high-rise apartments. Shocker. What else is new? We got Maine, we got New England here. New England is well represented today in the chat. We got Maine, we got New Hampshire. Probably perfect up there this time of year. Don't let it bring you down, which is what Tom and I said last night. If you are you going to just play that song for the hell of it? Even though he threw it on Pure McCartney in 2016. That's a song where I would just listen to it. Texas is in the house, of course. Hi, James. Thanks for those links this week on email. Our weed-loving hero made an appearance at a comedic club with a guy doing stand-up, and apparently he was well toasted on stage. And James sent me that link to that article. That was quite interesting. And the interview, too. I just started to listen to a little bits of that. Some interview from 1987. Thank you for sending that our way. Definitely listen to that, and maybe we'll do that as a future episode where we react to an interview. It's only audio, though, but thank you. Yes, the raspiness towards the end there. Drop the mic. Morse Moose is a precursor to McCartney 2. Absolutely. It's a song I used to hate as a kid. I'm like, God, how do you close an album with this? Now I love it. But that was, we dropped that last night, and we'll probably do another series on that where we pick 2 more albums. Wasn't a long one. We kicked it, it was a 35-minute episode, which for us is kind of shorter than usual. We're right around that 1 hour mark, 50 minutes. So, it wasn't any kind of thing too deep. But, thanks for checking that out. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. That dropped last night. Let me catch back up on the comments here. Tony discovered Don't Let It... Yeah, well, see, that's the idea. That's why he includes it, right? That's why he includes it, a real, an album cut. Now you know about it. I remember looking at going, woo, he included that one on there? But nothing from Flowers in the Dirt. Come on, man. I know that was coming out on the archive the next year, but Flowers in the Dirt had to be represented on that set, and it was not. That was a major insomnia. James says, I remember getting With a Little Luck and being shocked at the length compared to the radio plays. At 14, I never had an issue with the long version. You never did, because you enjoyed it. I must say, being in the New York area, you would hear mostly the radio edit, right? But occasionally, and I can remember as a kid listening to the best radio station I ever heard as a kid growing up, and that was the old WCBS FM 101.1. They would play the full version a lot. Back in the day on Saturdays, this was like when radio listening was the best. Every Saturday at 5 o'clock, they would do the top 20 countdown of a particular year. 65, 7, and I can remember like being 14 or 15, them doing the top 20 countdown of the whatever it was in 78, and they played the full 545 version of it, and I'm like, this is good stuff. That was when radio was radio, and I'm wondering if anybody in the New York area remembers those days of listening to the classic WCBS FM. I know we're kind of all over the world here, but if anybody's in the New York area, I would love to see if anybody has those same memories too. Let's catch up on the comments here. Hello, Joe Mantaneo. Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see you. Russ says, agree with David. Always thought I've had enough sound and enough forced. Yeah, it's okay. I would have removed I've Had Enough and Name and Address and made it a pure folky album. Add Water Spout. Still close it with Morse Moose to just throw it crazy. But I would remove those 2 rockers to have the kind of folky album. I know Tom can't stand Children. I like it. I enjoy it. Let's go back down here. Tony, I fell in love with Don't Let It Bring You Down. Paul is skilled. He is. David says, can Paul finally dust off Beautiful Night for a live debut? Partner. I was going to say Freudian slip. You are my partner. I do. I think he should. Definitely. You have a top 5. Wow. It's probably top 10 for sure. Cafe on the Left Bank would have been a better second single. Yes. Another one my partner really enjoys, Cafe on the Left Bank. I always felt it could have been sequenced a little bit better on the album. You've got this nice Penny Lane-esque song with London Town and everything, and then it goes right into this Cafe on the Left Bank. If it had been sequenced later in the album, I think it would have worked better. That crunchiness in the beginning after that like bucolic state of bliss of London Town into that always kind of just left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. A little bit. Jeff says radio versions of Chicago songs are way better. Oh, well, yes. Yeah. Wait, you like radio versions? I'll tell you what now. Here's a little lesson in that. Make Me Smile, okay, is a great song on its own. Huge hit. But it's just part of a bigger suite, which I only learned about several years ago from Tom, believe it or not, when it's part of the ballet for A Girl in Buchanan. And I can't hear that song any other way now. Thank you again, Tom, for enlightening me to that. He actually got to see that song performed live, I think in 2016 or 2017, which must have been incredible to see the band do that, even though it's changed a little bit. Sure, that's your opinion, absolutely, and you're entitled to it. Radio hits are radio hits for a reason. That's the one people know to trim them down. You can't. They weren't going to put on a 13-minute suite on FM radio in 1971 or 2. Or AM radio maybe, with some prog stuff. Mike says, and Mike, I'm sorry we didn't meet up at ELO the other night, but I'm sure you had a great time. I know you watched my video on my other channel. If you didn't check that out yet, please do. I have a review with the MVP and our good friend Jared, who came with us. Speaking of Pure McCartney, have you seen the live Pure McCartney show from 2012? Yes, I have. I watched that on YouTube when it came out. That was a big deal back then. Yeah, those guys are very good at what they do. I have. James says, so driving home from work last night, I put Driving Rain on while I was driving. I could not listen to Driving all the way through. You can't. With the embarrassment of riches of albums post that, hard to go back to that album and listen to it start to finish. It really is. I'm sorry, Kyle. Kyle, maybe you and I will have a chat next Sunday when we meet up and you can convince me to give it a spin all the way through. If it was 2001 or 2, you damn sure I would have, because I did. And I wore it out back then. Susan says, I long for... Water Spout and Cage. The classics. Cage especially. That would have been great on Back to the Egg. I would have swapped out... for To You, and I would have put Cage on there. Children is a bit naff, so I would bin that. Yeah, Count James is another one who doesn't like Children. Nick says, I've had enough will be one of my faves. A rocker during disco. Okay. Even with that, another one with the video, with the 4-screen split thing and the freeze frame. Matthew, hello. Good to see you. Good morning. London Town is a masterpiece. It was the first McCartney album I ever bought the day of release. I purchased it with my allowance on cassette when I was 13 in March of 78. And you liked it from the day of. I am sure you did. Not the album of the time, punk, the musical moods were shifting there. And there's here comes a older guy who wasn't even 40 yet putting out a kind of a folksy album. You gotta remember, in the late 70s, early 80s, Paul was thought of old then with all the other contemporaries popping out at the time. It's on it. It's definitely on there. Yeah, well, I have, there's plenty of bootlegs out there, and I got one a few months ago at a record show in town, not too far from me. I got a copy of it on vinyl, like the one that's out there the most. It was the best, man. The Echo, the DJs, their personalities were just as good as the songs they were playing. Thank you, Joe. James says the best thing about Driving Rain was the beginning with his new band. Yeah, I think in hindsight that's a great comment and a great take. New band, new energy. Obviously with the addition, Gabe Dixon's on that album and later, left. But the core of his band with obviously Wicks wasn't on that record, but he joined the tour. Abe, Brian, and Rusty being there for that album. That's really probably the legacy of the Driving Rain album, is that it was the start of Paul putting his next 20-plus year career together with a band that he still plays with to this day. If anything, we should be appreciative of Driving Rain for that, because it gave us those guys and Paul deciding to tour again and going out there again and being really nonstop, aside from some off years here and there and COVID, to bring his live show to millions of people across the world. And those guys, excite him, energize him, get him ready to play. They challenge him to, as much as they can, to change the set list up. And the new band is, new. I love how we call them the new band. They've been playing with him for 20-something years. Longer than the Beatles and Wings combined now, which is just crazy. But yeah, that's a great way to sum up the album. Ollie, London Town is top 5. That's not to say I don't think Name and Address and I've Had Enough should have been kicked to the cold cuts curb. Fair enough. Tom says, that's why it's a masterpiece, Matthew. You may be using nostalgia to make that decision. Yeah, because he bought it at the time. Now, I think it's a masterpiece. I wasn't born in 1978. Add 3, and then I was here. I think it's a masterpiece. So I don't need nostalgia to feel that it's a masterpiece, because I think it is. But I understand what my partner's saying here, is that people are nostalgic, so they're going to go, oh my God, I remember when I got it, so it's a masterpiece. It's where it falls into the history line for you. I think Red Rose Speedway is a masterpiece. Why? Because I got it when I was 13. I think it's a masterpiece. So yes, I'm using nostalgia to make that decision. And I've held that decision since the day I got those albums, and I have not moved off that decision, and I won't. 7 songs. Name them. Name them, please. What are they? I went to my iTunes and I selected the 11 best driving range songs. It would. London Town was the first Beatle-related album I bought as a new release. Hi, Matt. Thanks for joining and popping on here today. For sure. Exactly. You just made my point. You loved it then and you love it now. Exactly. Different strokes for different folks. Tom and I talked about this last night. One person's piece of crap is another person's, masterpiece. Mike says, to find it. Yes. The pure McCartney performance of Ram from 2012. Haven't seen it in a couple of years, but I know it's probably still out there. Hi, Mike. Thanks for watching our latest video. I know that you were on there. Mulligan Tire should have been on that album. I go back and forth on that. It could have. I like it as a standalone single, though. I think more of the case should be that Good Night Tonight should have been on Back to the Egg. David says, Driving Range suffers as it was made for a CD. Exactly. Oh, I've got 80 minutes to play with, so I can do that. I have 80 minutes to play with, so I can go do it now. And I'm going to fill it with that. Now, Rinse the Raindrops, 10 minutes aside. I know Tom likes that too. James, I've had enough problem as it's a tame recording and lacks balls. I would agree. Ooh, that's one of my least favorite Wings songs because it goes on too long. They did play it, though. I think they played it in February. Did they play again and again and again when we were at the fest in New York? I think they did. I just wish it... Yeah, we've talked about that. Wrong venue for that. That should have been a, Let It Be, Yesterday, Some More Solid, not From a Lover to a Friend, and Lonely Road. Driving Rain makes Off the Ground sound like Sgt. Pepper, says James Boyce. Good one. Good one. David says, Abe was 29 when he first met him for the Driving Range sessions. Amazing. Wow. There's the biggest world's Driving Range fan. Hello, Kyle. New York City tour guide extraordinaire. Hello, hello. Looking forward to next Sunday, partner. Pepper was my first Beatles album. Of course. Mike. At the fest, my band did In the Battle, Driving Rain and Freedom. Awesome. You mean Battle of the Bands? You did? And what year? And where? And what fest? What, Jersey? Out of context, plenty of Paul albums stand up better, James Boyce says. London Town was just too soft for 78, apart from the 14-year-old me. Okay. That's somebody who's looking at it, fair and balanced, which is fine too. We'll get to that in a little bit there, Scott. I just want to recap our show and catch up with the comments and say hello to everybody. But we'll get to the week in review that was in Beatles world. Russ says, most are masterpieces, in my opinion, Andy. Some have flaws more than others. I think 70s and most 80s and 90s are masterpieces. Fine. Kyle asks, have you heard of the Shea Stadium doc playing at a New York Film Festival? Probably played at other festivals this year. I have not. Back in the day when you could rent VHS tapes, they had a really crappy version of the Shea Stadium that got a home video release, and I used to rent that all the time and watch it. But it was not good quality. But it did get a small VHS release. And it was like 30 minutes. It was not that good. But Tom says, but like we said last night, we knew the heart exactly. Hardcore fan, and we said that. The hardcore fan base is going to be different, is going to look at it differently. I liked London Town when it came out, was more into the Clash and such then, but it came to appreciate it later. Still like the Clash, though. Yeah. Paul should have saved many Driving Rain songs for non-album sides. Agree. Rinse the Raindrops is better on Twin Freaks. Agree. Jeff says, one year I asked for a specific few albums by the Beatles. I got extra texture. What a bummer. Oh. Susan, I always have a soft spot for the first LP I bought, Introducing the Beatles in '64. Now, was that the second Introducing the Beatles or the first one? Because we know that there were two variants of that. One that had Please Please Me and Ask Me Why, and then one that had Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You. I think the latter one had Please Please Me and Ask Me Why on it, I think. Is the song London Town, a dodgy lyric, Pink Balloon on His Foot? I know. Chicago Fest, awesome. I would love to see if there was any video of that. If there is, maybe we could see it. I know, yeah. Oh, yeah, they took the 1, 2, 3 off if I saw her standing there. Is Tom H. starting a Beach Boys podcast? 100% definitely not. What makes you think that? Tom, it does not like the Beach Boys, unless that's just a comment in jest. I would do a show on the Beach Boys any day of the week. Matt says the production on Good Night Tonight is too different to fit comfortably on Back to the Egg. Good Night Tonight is a pretty sparse arrangement comparatively. Just one old man's opinion. Okay. Fair enough. I just know Paul would have felt better with that album had it done better if he had put that single on it, because I know that's the album that sticks in his craw, which is one of the reasons why we probably still don't have it yet. Other legal reasons aside, which copyright and who was on what for Rockestra and all that good stuff. Any non-Paul albums you think are too long to the CD? Just Driving Rain. Thanks, Mike. That was a very, very fun episode to do. Long overdue. Speaking of divided releases, I think Off the Ground would... Yeah, that could be there. Definitely. David says my first Beatles-related album when I was Red Rose Speedway in '73. So you were 9. So did you like it then, or you were like, it didn't age well? I mean, you probably have nostalgia with that too, David, I would guess, right? The Please Please Me variant, the second, in mono, of course. Yeah, the first one had P.S. I Love You and Love Me Do honors. 2 Beach Legs, you got it. Which we talked about doing that. I think we might have done a show on my own channel. I don't think we did one, but we might. We'll do one for sure. Yeah, I love the song Long Time. Some of the lyrics, yikes. Lyrics are good, but toot. I know. Julia says, my dad's first Beatle purchase was Rubber Soul. Mine was decades later. The White Album. Same passion for their music, though, of course. Thank you. So, caught up on the comments. Another big week here in Beatles Week. Okay, last week on the heels of getting the mono announcement of the box set, of which for an extra $120 you can get the Beatles story and the box and the booklet, which was a hard pass. I just got the 6 regular mono albums. This week, we get news from the Harrison camp that Material World is coming out again a week earlier. And, shout out to Beatley Tone for his great recap video and all the iterations that are available. This one's not going to break the bank, though, folks. There's no crate. There's no Affirm needed if we need it. But I think it's a pretty fair ask for the price. The asking price for the Super Deluxe is $175. And you get, you get the 2 records. You get the Blu-ray and the 7-inch and a poster and a book. I think that's a pretty good fair shake and some good outtakes. And yeah, I mean, and like Tony said in his video, who says you can't have, solo and Beatles releases together? Maybe we're entering the 4th quarter of 2018 again when we were just sieged with Beatle releases. Maybe that's happening here in 2024. We'll have to wait and see. My gut says yes, it's heading that way. I don't think anything will come close to 2018, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a very enjoyable 4th quarter. I don't know anything, but it's just my gut feeling. But I'm really stoked about Material World coming out again. It's a record that it takes a lot of heat for it because some people feel it's a little too preachy. And this is the 2006 version that came out, and I've been happy with this ever since. You had the DVD, and you had with some videos, and you had the bonus tracks of Deep Blue and Miss Odell on here. So this has been my go-to since '06. I must say that prior to '06, I never actually owned this on CD. I could never find the first run on Capitol/EMI of Material World on CD. I just never saw it anywhere. Jeff says it's a hard pass. Yeah, I as a 20-something-year-old fan, this is music that's pretty deep and introspective, right? And if you're absorbing everything under the sun, then it's kind of hard for you to, or it was for me to anyway, to listen to some of this album and hear these songs and be like, man, this is another slow, dirgy type song. Give Me Love, I loved from, the first minute I heard it. Great album opener. But then the rest of it, I'm like, wow, this is kind of like another slow song. Like, this is not All Things Must Pass. But as I've aged, and hearing other people's opinions on it, like Ken Michaels especially, I've now enjoyed it. It's probably right after All Things Must Pass is my second favorite George album. It is. It's going to be a great release. I got the Super Deluxe and the purple vinyl and a T-shirt. With the T-shirt I ordered this morning. But if you're not crazy about it, the 2006 CD, reissue, I think is probably going to be okay for most people. David says Take 18 of Give Me Love is actually the released master, but I thought so. That sounded like it just sounded stripped back. I did wonder that. What did you all order for Material World? Are you going vinyl? Are you skipping it? Let's see what people have to say about that. Matt says it would appear that the Super Deluxe Living Material World does not include the poster. It better. Material World single LP is clear, purple, and orange. George is, yes, he is. I went for the purple one right now. Amazon has a clear one, and I'm not sure who's doing the orange one. I'm just going to get one color variant for this one. I'm not going to go for all three. I'm not going to do a McCartney 3 here with this one. Not sure how they're supposed to improve the mix on it. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people don't like what the Paul Hicks work that he did on All Things Must Pass in 2021. They thought it sounded too dry. I thought it was okay. It's a different listening experience than the proper version. Matt says he got Material World in '76 with money I made mowing lawns. I still have that copy. Is it beat up? I'm sure it's filed nice on your shelf, Matt. Julia said that she pre-ordered the 170 and the Amazon exclusive. Still not convinced to get the purple one. It's deep listening. That's a great word to describe it. Great word choice. And spun it this morning. I spun it yesterday a few times. It is, a song like "Be Here Now," which I never used to like. I'm like, what's going on here? And I had a little quick text conversation with one of our great friends and supporters of the show, Janet Davis, and we had and she's like, it's a song like Long, 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 where he sings very softly, but the payoff is there. And boy, Janet was so right with that. Janet, going to hold out hope for these Giants here, but I don't think it's going to last, hon. But yeah, she got it too. And, big, it's some people, if you're of that age, it's your go-to album. Scott O'Rourke said, yeah, the George's version of Sunshine Life for Me, Sail Away Rain. Yeah, that's going to be good. Exactly, Ollie. I never would have made that association until Janet told me about it. And now listening to Long, Long, Long and listening to Be Here Now, I'm like, wow, so spot on. And I think that's a song, and I think the album as a whole is one that, listen, you could be 22 and really dig it and like it. I was not at 22. I was super into Paul, still am, obviously. So, to look at a deep, introspective, album like this, I just wasn't I wasn't there with it. I couldn't do it. But now at 43, I can. I mean, look at George here. How cool does he look there? I love the photos from this session. which you thought might have been in England, but it's actually in L.A. I found out about. Here's another great one of George and Ringo just hanging out. I love it. Great musicianship on this album, too. Nicky Hopkins. And great tracks. I mean, That Is All, which closes the album, not only covered by Harry Nilsson wonderfully, Andy Williams, of all people, did a cover of That Is All. So, file that, for a Jeopardy question one day in Final Jeopardy. Andy Williams sang this song, boom, for Final Jeopardy. Let's see how many people get that song right. I wouldn't wager all your money on that one, folks. That would be a great Final Jeopardy question. Let me catch up on the comments here. Bill, I think the release will do what Mind Games did for the album. Greater appreciation. You got the deluxe version. Good for you, Bill. Nick would be more excited for a Ringo box set. Yeah, well, that's supposedly in the pipeline, too. Tony's going to save up everything to get associated with this release. Okay, Ted got the Super Deluxe in the purple. Very good, Ted. James is going to get the high res. Okay, so just the digital of the deluxe. Got it. Joe is going to do streaming and the 2 CD set. Mike is going to do the Super Deluxe. Dino! There he is, one of the biggest fans, of Macca worldwide, Dino Becerra. Look for him on a future episode of Two Legs, where we discuss the album in question, where there's a gigantic deluge of driving rain. That will teach me to play it in the car today. Okay. Barnes & Nobles has the pre-order for the orange. Thank you, Susan. I wasn't sure. I forgot which outlet it was. Okay, so purple, clear, and orange. The purple is going to be good enough for me. Maybe there's a Barnes & Nobles not too far from me. If I see it there and it's got like 15% off, maybe I'll grab it for the hell of it. But I must say, my 2017 is doing pretty good still. Anybody get those 2017 reissues? I had gotten these at a New York Fest a couple of years ago. 2022 or 3, I think. I had gotten all the George 2017 reissues, and this plays flawlessly. I mean, it's 180 gram. Maybe the remix will be nice to have, but my 2017 reissue is fine. My 1973 one, which I bought as a kid in Brooklyn, is in there still, but it's beat up to hell. Shelfware, you still play it. Awesome. Purple vinyl. Oh, look at this here. Hashtag #GetBack70. There's Jim Kelly, boys and girls. Jim Kelly, one of my near and dear friends from back in the day. He's referring to my old AOL Instant Messenger handle, which was called #GetBack70, believe it or not. And he remembers it too. Throwback. Brother, I hope you're doing well. And Jim is a Buffalo Bills fan, so he is excited. His team's doing well. My team's in the Pisha Do. So those Bills were playing tomorrow night. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for being here. Whoa, throwing it way back with #GetBack70 at AOL.com. Susan says she's ordered the Material World box. Of course she did. Never question Susan. If it's out there, she's going to get it all, including all the best promotional box singles. Susan, did you get it yet? Meant to ask you that. Did you get it yet? Julia, my 71-year-old dad was 20 when Material World came out. Yeah. So my dad's just about the same age. And although he didn't have that album. He was more of a Paul guy. So I had all those albums already. The George stuff I had to go out and get. James says I have to give Material World another listen. Yeah, again, it's worth it. The payoff is there, as Janet and I were texting yesterday. The payoff is definitely there. James Boyce says Living Material World is not his big favorite, but it's no extra texture. Owen, if you're watching, ha 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 ha. Owen Ling, Cloud9 and the self-titled, yeah, exactly. Jeff says Apple Music will have the 2 CD version, but they will have the whole. Yeah, and they've been dropping that once a week. I get this little notification every week that the latest version of whatever, of the Evolution. So yeah, they're dropping all of that. The only thing, again, going back to Mind Game stuff, I'm not getting the meditation mixes on vinyl. I'm not. That's a hard pass. I got the Cube, which is still sitting in there. No, I have not put the little flat rug thing underneath it. I forget who suggested that. Maybe it was Jeff or James. Somebody on here did. It's good. It's sitting there. It's okay. I'm just gonna leave it. But the The vinyl's still in the other room. Scott O'Rourke says, I'm trying to decide which one to get. I don't think it is. I think, or no, it is on the 2-disc. There was some chatter about this on the Hoffman forum that the instrumental version is only exclusive to the deluxe. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can chime in here with that. I think Sunshine is going to be on the 2-CD version. Mike says there's a great George photo book named Be Here Now by Barry Feinstein from a couple of years ago. Okay. Yeah, that song is just, wow. Silver Rain in Suffolk, England. No, it's raining in England. Shocker. Giants tank the season. Do you see a coaching change? If the Giants win 1 or 2 games, Dable is out. It's over. Thanks for the call. See you next time. Bye. It's over. And the schedule does not get any easier. I mean, they're staring down the barrel of 0-6. Who they got to play Dallas. They got to play Pittsburgh in a few weeks on a Monday night. The Neighbors Malik Neighbors is the only bright spot I see right now on that team for the number 1 pick. But not good. Optimism is closing quickly by the week by week. By Halloween, I think before Halloween, it'll be all over. David says we don't have Barnes & Nobles. Okay. You couldn't even buy it online and have it shipped internationally? There's got to be a way you can do that, right? David, where does Bangladesh go on the Super? I don't know. Oh, you mean the Apple Years? The Apple Years box? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe it comes out on a repackaged concert for Bangladesh. That's probably my best guess. That will come out again as a super deluxe thing, and I'm sure Bangladesh, the song, will just go on that. That makes the most sense, I would think. Tony credits Ken Michaels for changing his mind on material, and mine too. Again, it's an age thing. Kyle says, yeah, this could have been a combo thing, but they really haven't done that. The last person to do that was Paul, where we got 2 albums packaged and released at the same time. And we got to go all the way back to 2015, I think, when we got Pipes of Peace and Tug of War bundled at the same time. Since then, every release, whether it's the Beatles or any of the solo stuff, has been standalone. Everything. That's the last time. I love that, though. You know, you had McCartney and McCartney 2. You had Tug of War and Pipes of Peace. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. You had the Big Barn Box in 2018. I stand corrected. When you had Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway in the Big Barn Box. But it doesn't happen that much anymore. David, some clarification. The 2 CDs has Sunshine only. Okay. 2 CDs. Interesting. James, speaking of divided albums on the George side, somewhere in England that has Yeah, I think so. And maybe that gets a total reworking with some of the George's first kind of vision of what the album was before Warner Brothers rejected it. I have a bootleg copy of that album that I got at a fest with the the original cover too. Okay, this clarification, thank you, Jeff. Sunshine is on the 2 CD version. I thought so. The instrumental is in the box, which makes it okay. So the only instrument that's unique to the box set. Thank you for the clarification, Jeff. We don't look at these things half the time when we did it. You know, we get a link that it's available, and I'm telling you, in a half slumber sleep, Thursday morning, I just went, click, ship, buy, done. Pre-ordered. Go back to bed. It's just what I did. Send that English rain to Texas. It's still 90 in here. God damn. It's got to cool off soon enough. Hang in there. Okay. No sun, as we know. Not raining in the north of England. Where in the north of England are you there, David? Are you in Merseyside? Jets. Okay, it was. Yeah, well, listen, you Jets fans have a right to rejoice. You have a quarterback now who made it more than four plays into the season, and they did well. They should have a good year. They should. I don't want to say it's vintage Aaron. Vintage Aaron is long gone because one of my best friends is a Packers fan, and he knows it's no vintage Aaron at all. But all the tracks, including outtakes on the Blu-ray. David is like the Blu-ray czar, man. He loves his Blu-rays. My Mind Games Blu-ray is still sitting in the Blu-ray player. I did navigate how to get to them all. But when I have a true 5.1 home surround system, I will embrace the Blu-rays. I will. I just don't have the time. I don't have the time to listen to the Blu-rays. I mean, I get a CD, I rip it, I put it on it's on my cloud, it's on my phone. I listen to vinyl on the weekends when I can, and it's go. I don't have the time to listen to Blu-rays. One day in my life, I'll get there. Oh, Mr. Liverani's here. Yes, of course. Another big week here, too. Obviously, we're talking about Material World, but Wednesday night, Ringo Starr, Radio City. I'll be there. We'll be there and looking forward to it. And catching up with you and James, of course. And I know that some of the other Fest people are going too. Bob Gannon's going, and I know that Tom Frangione's going as well too, and Mark and Carol Lapidus. So I'm not sure where you guys are all sitting, but hopefully we can all catch up with you all at some point. I did talk to Bob about it during the week, and he's going too. So, hey, fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Let me go back here. Catch up with the comments. If it was anyone else but Ken Michaels, I would think there would be a contrary naming. Yeah, I know. I get it. My team is tanked for the year too. Who's your team, Matt? Dallas? Took me a long time to appreciate. Took me a long time to accept artists singing about spirituality. But okay, it is. It's cool. It's awesome here. Awesome. Beautiful. You're in Old York. Okay. Did you hear about Ken's new show with Bruce? Yes. Yeah, I did. I started to listen to some of that episode the other night. That looks like a great episode. Yeah. That looks like that's with Walter Everett, who's a scholar in his own right on a Womack level. But yeah, Ringo Starr Wednesday night at Radio City, and then Thursday, one hand clapping. For sure. Flowers are off the ground complete sessions. I'm gonna go with off the ground complete sessions. Yeah, that looks like a great episode. I started watching again. There's only so many hours in a day to take all this stuff in and record our own stuff too. You know, there's only so much time. But yeah, Material World's going to be great, and it's nice. It's going to be a nice album to have, in the autumn to listen to, and just kind of just put it on and just lose yourself and listen to the music a little bit. Jim, do I think George's 74 tour? I think the 74 tour, whatever of it is going to be bundled in a Dark Horse package, which will come out at some point, probably next year or whenever. I mean, we're 3 years out from All Things Must Pass. Now we're getting a Material World. It seems that the Lennon and Harrison camps don't do things yearly. Somebody had said, I think in one of our comments, though they can't wait till Walls and Bridges comes out next year. They're not going to do that. They're going to take their time. They're going to take their time putting these releases out. So I don't expect Walls and Bridges for another 2 or 3 years. I also don't expect another Harrison release for a couple of years after this. They're gonna take their time with these, as they should. Yes, I saw why the early. Yes, that I saw that in the beginning, and you and I were talking about this last week, and I find myself listening to, especially the last few months, the early albums more. I think I'd call that overplaying. I mean, listen, from Revolver, Pepper, Mystery Tour, White Album, Abbey Road, Let It Be, especially the last 5 years, we got super deluxe treatments of all those albums, right? So we've dissected them. We're still dissecting them, but then we forget about how good the early stuff is, and that's what I'm finding. I mean, I've always known it. The early stuff's great, but we just tend to just sideline it. You listen to things like What You're Doing and I Don't Want to Spoil the Party and I'll Be Back and Babies in Black. You're like, Jesus Christ, these are just fantastic songs that really get overlooked. They really do. Hello, James. Yeah. Yeah. Tom says, I agree, Andy. I think the Dark Horse. Yeah, if anything, it's going to be bundled in there. Growing up, Mike says, growing up on Long Island in the late 70s, I became a Cowboys fan. See, that's what happens. Anybody who's a certain age, if you were watching football and you were a teenager in the 70s, you weren't watching the Giants and the Jets because they were terrible. So that's why people of that age are either Pittsburgh Steelers fans or Dallas Cowboy fans. Trust me, I work with a lot of them. And they're all the same age, and they weren't going to watch the Giants because they were absolutely horrible. I get it. The second album book, you got it. Isn't that a great book? Yep. Written by Dave Marsh, formerly of Rolling Stone. Wrote just a book on the Beatles' second album. I showed it last week and sent Kyle the link, and he got it for a good price. Not good. It's out of print on Amazon, but you can find it secondhand pretty cheap. I'm glad you got it because it's worthy, and I hope you enjoy the record when you get it, if you get it. Tony says, yes, they are. They are, and you really need, and that's what this mono set coming out is a good thing because we've gotten so much attention, and rightly so, to Pepper and White Album. I mean, the White Album box set I got in 2018 with the 6 CDs and a Blu-ray, or 5 CDs and a Blu-ray. I am still digesting all those outtakes. Still, nearly 6 years later. And Abbey Road in 2019, and Let It Be in 2021, and of course Get Back. So the early stuff, with all this attention on all these super deluxes, the early stuff really gets kind of thrown by the wayside. So it's nice to see that there is attention and people can go back and actually like the early stuff. I know it's Tom's not favorite era, but damn, you can go down a rabbit hole. And one of my good buddies, Tom, who's he listens to the show. He actually prefers early Beatles over later Beatles, which is, he goes, give me 62 to 66 any day. He likes the later Beatles, but he's like all about the early Beatles. So I think it's great. I mean, Susan's a first generation fan. I wonder what her preference is, or can you not choose? I mean, how do you choose? It's like choosing your kids, But it's whatever suits your mood. It's whatever suits your mood at the time, whatever you're into. James says he'll need a knee and hip replacement by all the time these reissues surface. Me too. Surge ELO is fantastic. I have a recap video on my own channel. The other leg, Andy's Music Vault, that I did with my 2 friends who I went to it. ELO is great. My partner, Tom, is seeing him on October 9th. So Jeff was great. A great show, and I'm glad I got to see him before he called it a day. Jeff has the 64 Capitol albums on Black Rainbow, Green Capitol, and Apple Label. My go-to is the 04-06 Capitol albums on CD. You're passing on the upcoming box set. Okay. That's fair. The Meet the Beatles. Did you get the blue one from Target, Nick? I bit the bullet and got the blue. I wasn't gonna get it. Excuse me as I take a sip of my Java. I wasn't gonna get it, but I bought the bullet and got it. I even affirmed that thing too. I think with taxes it came to like $40, and that's a Target exclusive. With the Beatles was punk compared to what was going out, and yeah, with like Bobby Vinton and all those other kind of Fabian and all those kind of clean, safe, manufactured pop artists. With here come the Beatles, these 4 guys from England, screaming their heads off, which was like revolted the freaking industry, rightly so. You're a big reader. I have a couple. I do. Walter Everett's books are essential. I had them in England, and anything with him and Womack is absolutely essential for the library. The Beatles as musicians through Revolver, yeah, he's got a couple out there. I haven't read them in a long time, but they are worthy. They are worthy additions to your Beatles library. Kyle says he made a great point that, of course, the Beatles didn't have control over how their songs were released. Nobody did. Why? Because the Beatles hadn't invented it yet. Exactly, Kyle. Exactly. That's when Pepper came out and said, stop. All the same. Nick got the blue. Good for you, man. It's nice looking. Looks like on the reproductions of the inner sleeves, you've got the one side of like showing you the upcoming releases that Capitol was pushing, and on the other side is the tape box. So it's not a true reproduction of the inner sleeve, from what I could tell in the early photos of the release. Bill's favorite period is 62 to 66. Okay. I could see that. I could definitely see you're a Red Album guy. Apart from Please Please Me and Hard Day's Night, I tend to listen to Help onwards, UK albums. Okay. Kyle, Andy, what do you think is Paul's earliest sign of mature songwriting, however you choose to define that? Mature songwriting. Oof, that could be an episode in itself. Paul's earliest sign of mature songwriting? Oh, boy, I don't know. I'd have to think on that, buddy. I'll come back to it. I'll file that question into the card catalog library up here, and I'll come back to that as I think about it. Or if I forget it to get it during the show, I'll text it to you. But I'll think on that. A couple. Ian Inglis's The Beatles, Popular Music and Society. That was a go-to book. A lot of work by Philip Tagg, who's a musicologist. Kenneth Womack's Cambridge Companion to the Beatles, which was one of the first books I ever bought. But Ian Inglis's book specifically. In fact, I'm just going to go get it real quick because I know where it is because I looked at it real quick. Hold on. I'll be right back. This one. Hold on. I'm back. This one. This was a big one. The Beatles, Popular Music and Society, 1,000 Voices, edited by Ian Inglis. This was our go-to. When we first got there, the professor said, Mike said, you need this book. And this is really a great book. See, it's got all my highlighting in there still too. But those were a couple. Jeff says, I hope for all they get them that they use the original artwork for the Capitol LPs. Let it be something else, and the new releases look like a little. Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, Tom, I talked about that at the top. He went on stage a little toked up there, and with a comedian who I don't know, in L.A. and was pretty well tooted up. But I did see that. James Martinez sent me the article this past week. Eleanor Rigby. I think Kyle was asking maybe as a solo artist or as Beatles. Are you asking as Beatles? Or I was thinking solo. My mind went right to solo when you asked me that question. I did not think Beatles. But I say you can't go wrong with "And I Love Her" or Eleanor Rigby. I was thinking solo, but I'll get back to you on that. Yeah. Yes, he is. There was a reason this book was recommended by my professor. This is big time stuff here. Yeah. I'll say She's Leaving Home. I'm gonna go with Susan. I'll go with Susan. I mean, the obvious choice is Yesterday, right? He was at that time he wrote it in 1965. He's 23. Yesterday, And I Love Her. These are all good choices. Things we said today. There's an argument made that you can make an argument for any of those songs, really. For No One, yeah, these are all these. He is in L.A. He just needs to be on a flight on Wednesday at about 5 o'clock and land and chill backstage at Radio City. Please get on a plane. It's the last show on the tour. Come on, it's at Radio City. Recreate that 2009 show, damn it. Come on. Yeah, things we said today. Yeah, I think I'll go with things we said today. That'll be my choice there, Kyle. Good question. Good question. Good question. Yeah, well, the tour. Paul's tour starts in 10 days. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Paul's October 1st is when the tour starts again. So, big week upcoming. I've got a concert tonight. I'm going to see John Anderson, the voice of Yes, here in New Jersey with the Band Geeks. So that'll be a great concert to go see. With Carl Palmer opening up. Carl Palmer of ELP. So there's a little ELP tribute, and then John Anderson. So it's a week of concerts, I'm telling you. Jeff Lynne, John Anderson, Ringo. The list goes on and on and on and on. But I can't wait. Please. Immature Paul, definitely for you. Definitely for you. Cannot stand that song. Cannot stand it. Hate it. Oh, boy. Good question, though. Very good question. So, who's got tickets for One Hand Clapping on Thursday night? And Tom and I will be doing a recap of that. We're not going to do a proper show on it because it's only 67 minutes, but we're both going to see it Thursday night. So Thursday night, probably like 9-ish or so, 9:30, 10. We'll hop on live here and do a little recap because we're both seeing it at the same time. You saw Roger McGuinn. Awesome. Where at? Marcus. Hi, Marcus. I think John Lennon showed mature songwriter. Yes. There's maturity in a lot of those early songs. Ask me why, even. Norwalk, Connecticut. How was he? Was he good? Kyle was saying early Beatles, but you could apply to solo depending on how you interpret mature. Okay. Oh, I think that's my dad, but it could be my mom. I'm not sure. It could be both. How you doing? Let's go Giants, right? Ha ha ha! Laugh, laugh. These are songs written in their 20s. These are songs. Susan's going on Sunday. Okay. Yep. Thursday night for the MVP. James Boyce is going Thursday night. Tony's going Thursday night. That's a great song. There's a lot of maturity. Of course you are. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're resting. Hope you're doing well. Nice logo there too. I'm not going to see David Gilmour, but some friends of mine are. Because I'm just a casual Floyd fan. I like Floyd, but I wouldn't go see him, because the prices are crazy. But I'm going to skip that. Tom, are you going? There's a Places in my Beatles top 10. Wow. That's awesome. Top 10 for There's a Place. Again, you hear it. It wasn't being done at the time. It really wasn't. You're going to go see him. I know he's got a new album out too. I heard a track on Sirius XM the other day. Sounds good. Sounds like Floyd. It sounds like Floyd. It definitely does. Also, too, I saw that Weekend Revolution is getting a release on Blu-ray. So that's coming out also as well. You can look for that, the documentary on the Mike Douglas Show. That's coming out also. So a lot of stuff to see. Tony's going to see. He's got a ticket for the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers documentary next month. Okay. There's the MVP saying hi to Mom and Dad. Yeah. What's the documentary about, Tony? Yeah. Gilmour. Yes, they do. They really do. It sounded like a Floyd track. It really did. We'll see. I know that Darren DeVivo's going. I know he's a big Floyd fan. I think he's doing like 4 or 5 nights at the Garden too. So there's only so much. Again, the calendar is packed for the end of the year with concerts and plans for England and things like that. So David Gilmour is going to just be one. I'll have to just pass it. But the Ringo one, I couldn't pass up. And I hemmed and hawed about that for months, and then said, you know what, I'm going. Because I haven't seen Ringo Starr since 2006. Because when you see Ringo once, and the same All-Star, I'm like, okay, I don't have to go. I have my Ringo autograph on the self-titled album. I was like, I don't need to go again. And then I'm like, you know what? He's 84. It's not going to be going on for much longer. Life is short by the tickets. So that's why I'm going. That's why I'm going. It'll be cool to hear, all those, he's got Lukather and the guy from Men, and I think he's got Colin Hay with him too. So we'll hear Men at Work stuff. We'll hear, Africa. We'll hear all that. So it'll be a great experience to see Ringo. And he looks so damn good. Does not look like he's 84. And he grew the hair back out, and it'll be great. It'll be and a great venue, which I've been at many times, a lot in the last couple of years, but seen many a concert at Radio City. You don't get much classier than that. Tom Petty's Beach Party is about the tour they went on 83 after Long Dark came out. Oh, okay. The best tribute band. I have seen them. I have seen Brit Floyd. I saw Brit Floyd 2 summers ago. Actually, at the same venue that I'm going to tonight. And they were awesome. They were fantastic. Yeah, tribute bands. You know what? But that's the way of the world now. That's the way of the world. It's just as these bands die off, tribute bands are going to command top dollar to see them. Look at the Fab Four, Almost Queen. There's a Zeppelin tribute band that has Jason Bonham in the drummer. This is all we got left. So That's what it is. Hamish is in the band. Yeah, they are amazing. I haven't seen them since the summer of 2022, but I would go see them again. There's a few out there: Brit Floyd, Aussie Floyd, the Pink Floyd Experience. That might be a stateside one, but Brit Floyd is they're the. I've seen a few, but they are the best one. Hamish has been in the band for a long time. Ringo's drum kit on his tour looks just like his Beatles kit. Awesome. Tom Liverani, I'm curious. How many times have you seen Ringo? Like, are you like with Ringo, like you guys are with Paul? Like you'll go see him all the time, or like sporadically? Just because I'm excited. I'm excited to go. Get a chance to see a Beatle. Tony says because of the Ringo All-Star Band, I grew to appreciate Toto. Of course. Well, Toto is there, just phenomenal. I wish David Paich would still perform with Toto because, in my opinion, he is the genius of that band. He's the lead singer on Africa. Yeah. James Boyce says Gilmore's new album is great. I would love to see Gilmore, but sold out in minutes. Wow. Joe says I did not meet Ringo to get the autograph. I had a friend of mine who was working security, and I gave him the CD, and he got it signed for me. So that's how I got that. I have both Beatle autographs, but I was not in the presence of both of them when I got them. However, the Paul one is personalized. The Ringo one is just Ringo with the star, but the Paul one is personalized to me, and that was on that. I have that on that The Space Within Us DVD on the outer cover. Tom says, we've seen every McCartney U.S. tour, but you've seen Ringo about 10 times. Okay, so not every single time. That's what I was wondering. Next time you see Ringo, he'll be 102. Maybe, and he might still be performing. Who knows? Mike said he saw Ringo at Jones Beach in '89, which was the first year, really, of the All-Star Band. You saw them. I wish I would have seen them with Gary Brooker, which David, I think, saw. I think David saw the All-Stars with Gary Brooker of Procol Harum. And damn, I wish I saw that lineup now that I became such a fan of theirs. Too bad. I know that there's a box set of that, but I wish that's one lineup I wish I saw. Julia says, too many people think David Gilmour is making Floyd music. He isn't. Luck and Strange is... Okay, I disagree. I think it sounds like Floyd, but that's fine. That's cool. He has James's McCartney on a shirt and it's framed. And James is out there. Again, we don't really follow the kids too much, but good for James for being public and making music. I know he laid low for many years, but he's out there. Let me scroll back here to Kyle's comment here. Kyle says, I've been noticing a lot of Beatles films and film festivals, Shea Stadium, 1-to-1, and Live Feast in Toronto. Yeah, it is. And hopefully they're good docs. We don't need another 8 days a week fiasco. Christ, I saw that in 2016 and it was disappointing. I got the DVD, but I didn't even really watch it. That was such a disappointing documentary. And I hate how they handled that whole thing. They put the album out again. They changed the artwork. They got rid of that classic Capitol Records album artwork, that Capitol artwork. The artist was Roy Kohara. The Beatles, that should have came out really with the intention of recreating that. The whole Hollywood Bowl thing in 2016 really left a sour taste in my mouth. I hated how they did that. I really hated how they did that. But yeah, hopefully the future is bright for film festivals for sure. Yes. Wow. Okay. So how many times have you seen Ringo, David? I just felt once was enough. I did. I saw you said this before. Linda's birthday is Tuesday. Mine's Wednesday. Happy early birthday, Tony. Thanks, Joe. One of these days, maybe in England, I'll get my chance to say hello to Paul for like 30 seconds and give him a 2-leg shirt. We're going to make signs up. We're going to follow the right people, and fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. But Jeff says we learned about Sigourney. Exactly. Hollywood talking heads is not what I want to see. I don't want to see that. Disappointing. And I went to see it in Asbury Park too, with actually my mom and dad. I don't know if you guys remember when we went to go see that. you remember when we went to go see that film in 2016? Talking Heads talking about the touring and crap. Like, no. The difference is these films are by true fans, not necessarily a Beatles-sanctioned film. Yeah, that's true. So, you know that the silver lining there is that it's going to not be, it's not going to be sanctioned. Impossible to see Ringo in the UK as he had no Ringo show since 2008. That would be during the whole the Liverpool 8 stuff. I did not realize he has not played since 2008. Wow. Damn. Well, yeah, he's, Ringo lives in America now, and going to the UK is just not a thing for him. He's been an American for a long, long time. Joe says he saw the Ringo on his third All-Star tour around his 70th birthday show. Okay. 14 years ago. 84. He does not look it, though. Tony met Mark Hudson and gave me an autograph on a Ringo shirt that's framed. We'll see. I wonder if we'll hear any new. I mean, I looked at the set list from his couple of tours, but doesn't look like we're going to get any new music. I know that there's a country album coming out, but who knows? Who knows? Julia says, this is about the Floyd stuff. I'll give you that, but David's guitar tone is his, not Floyd's. My opinion, of course. To me, Gilmour is unbelievably great. Yeah, that original live Hollywood Bowl LP that was an awesome package, which George Martin oversaw to kind of get those songs mixed to lower the crowd noise and make it presentable, and it was just done so tastefully. I know there was an influx of Beatles releases there in the late 70s, rock and roll music and love songs, which we talked about a few weeks ago. But the Hollywood Bowl, when they redid that was a chance they could have expanded that record, kept the same artwork, made it 2 discs, and no, we got some cheesy blue cover of the Beatles like getting off an airplane and going live at the Hollywood Bowl. Now the music was great because it was cleaned up and you had a couple bonus tracks, but that was it. That was it. Dino met Ringo at the London premiere of Broad Street in '84. He would not sign, but got some great pics. No autographs. No autographs. Peace and love. Oh, man. Awesome. All right, so you got some great picks. Let's see here. Let me go back. Tony says, Ron Howard could have interviewed those Beatles. Ron Howard could have interviewed those in the Beatles. And yeah, he chose celebrities. Yep. James says, did Jeff Lynne look a bit frail? As my friend said, he looked frail, but he didn't need assistance. He did not need assistance. Well, I didn't notice that at all. He was fine. He came off stage and he did not. He looked older, but he did not need any assistance. It wasn't like Phil Collins sitting. Phil Collins, when I saw Genesis in 2021, he needed assistance getting onto the stage and sitting down. No, he did not. He did not. Is there any intel that points to Ringo being on the new Paul record? Just rumors. Just rumors. Oh, Tom, now you're not being, that's cruel. Yeah, I have thought about that in the back of my head. I have thought about in the back of my head for weeks that if they both came out and did Now and Then, I don't think there's enough people. I don't think New York City has enough stretchers to carry the entire Radio City Music Hall out of that place, because we will all be on the floor dead. I think if that happened, there is no way they're doing that. But god damn, could you imagine if they did it? Woo! That would be incredible. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about that. I got to put it out of my mind. I have to. Oof. Paul played birthday at Ringo's 70th birthday show. Yes. Julia says, can you imagine a deluxe box of Ringo's photograph album, studio chatter with John, Ringo, and so much more? Yeah. Who knows now, though? That of all the Ringo albums that deserve that treatment, that's the one. You can imagine that Ringo album coming in a nice, McCartney, Lennon style, like box of archive, whether it's 12 by 12 or a tall book type one. Well, now that is, yeah. No, that was assistance. We got to see Gordon Lightfoot 2 summers ago. right before he passed away at the Count Basie in Red Bank, and he needed assistance. I mean, he passed away months after that performance. Came out and did what, like an hour and 5. But I got to see him at least. I know you had seen him in the 90s in his heyday, but that was just still great to see. And then Judy Collins was in the next arena over, and they didn't come out and do a song together. I remember that. Yeah. Got to see him at least, though. Gordon Lightfoot, what a great singer. Got to hear the record of the Edmund Fitzgerald, so I was happy about that. And all the other great songs, too. James, Twilight was in the early set. And then it dropped, and he dropped it. And unfortunately, it was in the set list early in the tour, and then it dropped. I wish Twilight would have been included. And he played that new song from Out of Nowhere album, which I did not know. On the Road Again or something like that it was called. I didn't, because I don't own that CD. I have the first one, Alone in the Universe. So I wish the opener would have been a little bit stronger, but it was still good. Let me go back to David here. 11 times between 99 and 23. Wow. Damn. Tony saw Ringo 3 times. 2018 was the best. You saw Kit there. Awesome. Huh. Serge saw Brian Wilson last. Yeah, well, Brian is definitely, coming towards the end of his life now, and we're going to get there at some point. But at least we got a chance to say we saw these icons, live at some point. Phil does have an illness. Matt saw Gordon Lightfoot, and then again on his last tour. Really? Wow. He sounded frail, but he hit the notes. He hit all the notes. Sorry. Mike thinks the melody of the record of the Edmund Fitzgerald sounds like It Don't Come Easy. I can hear that. I love that song. James saw Little Richard when he was 75 and needed help getting on stage. Tony says when he was 20, he saw Chuck Berry in concert and he collapsed. David is a sucker for punishment, obviously. I guess so. That's a lot of times that's a lot of peace and love concerts, man. David saw Brian Wilson's final live show ever. Wow. Which was what, last year? Right? I think. That 2012 50th anniversary tour of the Beach Boys was, I think, the last gasp, really, when Brian's band and Mike Love's band got together, and I got to see that show at the PNC. That was kind of they should have just called it a day then, in my opinion. 2 years ago was, okay, got it. Julia says Phil's only 73. That botched surgery ruined his life, but I hear he's finally taking, okay. It did. It's just sad to see our icons like that. But, it's undefeated. Time is undefeated. Mike says, my friend yelled a took at Ringo, and he said, is there a caveman out there? Frankie Valli not doing it. Yeah, I saw that video that Frankie's been lip syncing for years. Ouch. I got to see him, though, a couple of years ago, and I don't think he was lip syncing. I don't think he was. James saw Brian in 2016, and he was pretty out of it. Yeah, he just has. He just has. I'm glad I saw him in 2012, and that was it. Lucky Old Son, as David's saying. Yeah, that was a great album. The Lucky Old Son, that 04 to 12 period was like Brian's last gasp. He got Smile out. He did a great album of original material, which I think is just as good as any Beach Boys album with that Lucky Old Son. I think that's a great, great album. As good as anything the Beach Boys ever did. And then he did a Gershwin thing, and then he did an album called No Peer Pressure, which I didn't think was as good, but that Lucky Old Son was an awesome record. Vinyl, DVD, the whole nine, I got it. Here we go, because Mom does not like the Beach Boys. To you, too. Peace and love, Mom. The girl who liked pop, top 40 stuff in the 60s doesn't like Good Vibrations or California Girls or Fun or Surfing Safari. I could see you not liking the deeper stuff. I could see that. I could see you not liking, the deeper stuff or the druggy music. It's what she calls all this music. You listen to that druggy music. Blah, blah, blah. like Yes and Genesis and Floyd, You don't like the early hits? Come on. I don't believe that. Pet Sounds, I get it. But all the early stuff, that falls right within your top 40 wheelhouse. Could see you there like in the 60s, your little transistor radio, going down to Brighton Beach and listening to Help Me Rhonda. And not liking that? I know your brother liked it. I know your brother damn well liked it. Serge saw Brian and Jeff Beck together. Very cool. You go back here to Matt. Gordon Lightfoot on AM radio provided the soundtrack to many a school carpool in the early 70s. Mike says, saw Brian too. Great show, but Matt Jardine handled most of the falsettos. Okay. James saw the Smile Tour, a Greatest Hits Tour, and Lucky Old Son Tour, and they were excellent. Okay. Good Vibrations. Who doesn't like that? Jeff says, Music Sound Gear. Speaking of Caveman, I saw it in the theater when it first came out. I was the only one in the theater. I skipped school that day. For Caveman, I have to say I've not seen it because I'm not a big fan of the Ringo movie stuff. I'm just not. Julia doesn't. See, Ma, you're in good company. Julia doesn't like the Beach Boys either. You see? So, Serge says, never liked Brian and Paul's song they recorded. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. If you love pop music, you got to just love some Beach Boys. It was just okay. All right. Susan says, I love the early Beach Boys. That's when I first started loving the radio before the Beatles. See, there you go. I knew Susan would. Oh, Tony, how are you? Yeah, just about to sign off here in a couple of minutes. How are you, mate? And gave you a shout out earlier in the live stream. Been on for about an hour and 15 already. Wow, good one today so far. Let's see. Beatles Mad Mike. Caveman makes Ringo's movie Candy from 1968 look like a Best Picture Oscar winner. Tony's Ringo and Johnny. I saw Ringo and Johnny Carson promoting Caveman. Yeah. Pet Sounds tour was great back in 2002. It was, yeah. For Tony right now, it's probably about 5:30 over there for Tony right now. So, and he's doing a live stream today too. I think, right? Isn't Tony doing one? So, I believe he's doing one at 4:00 Eastern time. So 4 or 4:30 Eastern time. So a little later this afternoon, head over to Beatley Tone's channel for his live stream today. So make sure you check that out. And Tony, I hope you are doing well. So yeah. David says, I visit yearly. In Hawthorne, California. Okay. Had friends here. No problem. Check it out on the repeat. Just like my partner Tom does with his, Tom's Maca midweek catch up, which I think is really cool that Tom does too. Oh, Redondo Beach. Okay, the actual beach, not Hawthorne. Oh, all right, gang. Well, I'm going to wrap up here. I think it's 12:30, and NFL football kicks off in about a half hour. So I would like to thank you all. I didn't get a chance to thank you all last week, so I want to now thank everybody. Mike, David, Beatley Tone, Russ, Serge, Mike, Susan Gagney, Mom and Dad, James Boyce, David Jackson, Julia, Jeff, Ralph, Matt Buzzle. I hope I said that right. Kyle. I always get that wrong if I say that right. Buzzle. I'm pretty sure it's Buzzle, right? Kyle, Mike Waljasper, Joe Mantaneo, Tom Liverani, Dino, of course. I'm not sure I'm forgetting anybody. I got all the usuals here, I think. I got everybody. Want to miss everybody? If I did, I'm sorry. Jim Quinn. Want to make a shout out to him too. Nick, Bill Leary, earlier in the chat. Thank you. James Simpson. He was here too. I think that was everybody here today. And of course, James Martinez. Thank you for being here today. So thank you. Thank you guys for being here on my Sunday recap show. Hour and 20. Good chat. Big week ahead. One hand clapping. Ringo. Maybe I'll do a little video on my own channel for Ringo as well too. Material World pre-orders. Enjoying that. So it'll be another fab week of Beatle music. So Enjoy. Bazell. Bazell. I'm going to remember that. Bazell. Thank you. Thank you. I will not forget that. See you all next Sunday, but we'll be live Thursday night to recap One Hand Clapping. Thanks for the comments, everybody. I really enjoy going live every week and talking with my regulars here Sunday. It's a highlight of my week. I enjoy interacting with all you guys and kicking up, the Beatle news of the week and recapping it and what's to come, what's to look forward to. Always great content, always great comments from everybody on here. No problem, Tone. We'll talk during the week. And have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your NFL football if you watch. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.